An ancient stone tablet is discovered, and decoding its secrets could rock a core belief of Christianity. It seems to tell the story of a Messiah who is killed and rises from the dead after 3 days. Sound familiar? But this Messiah may not be Jesus. This is one of the secrets of Christianity being unearthed by investigative journalist Simcha Jakubowicz. From deserts to tombs, from Rome to the Holy Land, Simcha tracks down the truth behind historical myths, long-held beliefs, and some of the greatest biblical stories ever told.
This is a photograph of a unique and mysterious 2,000-year-old tablet or stone. This is the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, where Christians come to celebrate and commemorate the resurrection of Jesus 3 days after the crucifixion. This may shake up that. The stone emerged from the antiquities market, and incredibly, the ancient Hebrew text can still, for the most part, be easily read. The key line is this: I, Gabriel, command you, the Prince of Princes, in 3 days, live. Now, that may sound strange to the modern ear, but when I first heard about it, I almost fell off my chair. I mean, we're talking about a 3-day resurrection. If it's referring to Jesus, this bit of archaeology is the earliest archaeological artifact that refers to him. If it predates Jesus, then who is this Christ-like figure that we didn't know about before? Who is this Jesus before Jesus? To decode the stone, we have to figure out, when was it written? Where did it come from? And first, who is this Gabriel mentioned on the stone?
In both the Hebrew and Christian Bibles, Gabriel is an angel whose main job is to announce the Messiah. In the Gospels, he's the angel who announces to the Virgin Mary that she will give birth to Jesus. On this stone, Gabriel is not speaking to a woman. Rather, he is talking to a prince of princes, code word in Jesus' time for a Messiah. So the inscription seems to speak of a Messiah who dies and is ordered by the angel Gabriel to rise again after 3 days. Until now, this has been associated only with Jesus. But renowned biblical scholar Israel Knohl, who brought the stone to light, believes that the stone predates Jesus.
Here we have, for the first time, an evidence that the belief in the death and resurrection after 3 days of a messianic leader existed even before the time of Jesus.
I can already hear some of the objections. What are you saying here, that Jesus was a copycat? And I must say that's a totally unhistorical way of approaching the issue. If you think that Jesus was influenced by no one and he knew exactly where he was going and he landed like an alien from outer space, there's no point looking at any archaeology. But if you put Jesus in his historical context, first century Judea, he was, after all, a first century Jew, then you suddenly have to say, wait a minute, here's a man living in a country under Roman occupation. Clearly he's going to be influenced by people and he's going to influence people.
When it comes to this stone, now known as the Gabriel inscription, Knohl's theory is that Jesus was influenced by someone, since the stone predates Jesus. But does it? The answer depends on whether the inscription was written before the crucifixion. And to find out, Simcha comes to the ancient city of Jaffa in Israel to meet with Robert Deutsch. Deutsch is an epigrapher, a specialist in ancient inscriptions. He's also one of Israel's foremost licensed dealers in antiquities. So he should be able to explain how artifacts like the Gabriel stone are dated.
It has here a poster of the inscription.
Deutsch is using a full-size paper copy of the stone, prepared by the academics who studied it.
The Gabriel inscription is a very important inscription. The text is important. The development of the shape of the letter dates the piece.
What do you mean that you can date it from the shape of the letter?
It develops like a car. The shape of a car, it was never the same before, and it will never be the same after that.
So if you find a car, you can say what year it was.
Exactly. This is typology, which is a very, very accurate tool.
To illustrate the point, in the 1st century BC and early 1st century AD, the Hebrew letter Lamed, L in English, had a long neck and then lost it. During the same period, the Kuf, or K, lost its little cap. And the Mem, the letter M, initially square, became rounded, losing its squiggles in the process. Using these techniques, Deutsch agrees with Professor Knoll, dating the Gabriel inscription to a time just before Jesus' crucifixion, possibly before his birth.
And it dates to the 1st century BC and the beginning of the 1st century AD.
So, the inscription seems to predate Jesus.